What the?
Hi, this video is about me making my first ever woodblock print. So if you're looking for content with master level expertise, it might be a good idea to look elsewhere. But if you're interested in watching me succeed, fail, figure it out, and learn from the process, then stay right here. I started with this flat scrap of cherry that I had left over from another project and a little drawing in my sketchbook. Whatever image you carve onto a woodblock, the final image will be printed reversed from that. So before I transferred my drawing to the woodblock, I wanted to reverse it, and in that way the final print would have the same orientation as my drawing. I used a light table to trace a reversed version of the drawing on the back of the original sheet of paper. And then I sandwiched some carbon paper between my flipped drawing and the woodblock, and then traced the flipped drawing with a pencil so that the carbon would transfer the image to the woodblock, and this worked pretty well. With the design mostly transferred to the woodblock, I was then able to use a pencil just to clean up any areas that didn't transfer perfectly and to just tighten up some of the details before I started carving. I don't know what you call this thing, but I'd seen other woodblock carvers use them, and I decided to make one for myself out of some scraps of wood. And how it works is it's a little work surface that has a strip of wood along the bottom edge that you can brace against the front edge of your table, and then another strip of wood at the top that you can brace the woodblock that you're carving against. And the point is that it just holds everything in place so that the woodblock doesn't slip around underneath your carving tools. The carving was a totally new experience for me, and one that I liked and found very relaxing. One thing I learned though is that if I ever got tired or bored, I would get a little bit sloppy and immediately get punished for that with a mistake that was going to be either impossible or very difficult to fix. So let's ink this thing up and see how we did. Here I'm using a crescent wrench to press the paper onto the inked block, which it turns out was a pretty bad idea. Ooh, boy. No. 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 I made a bunch of bad prints trying to figure out what was wrong. One of the problems I realized I was having with those bad prints was getting an even spread of ink on the surface of the block. And like all good artists and carpenters, I blame my tools. I had been using this brayer to roll the ink onto the block, and it's a very hard rubber, and it also isn't that straight going across. I tried to compensate for that, but what I ended up doing instead was trying a different brayer that I got, and this one has a much softer rubber, and I think that flexes to fill in the space a little bit better and gets a nice layer of ink, and I started getting a little bit better results. I also went into the block itself and started adjusting for little areas that I wanted to clean up, like these areas were maybe a little too high, so a lot of ink was getting picked up. I wanted to change this shadow area behind the eye because I thought it looked too weird. I made a tooth here a little bit stronger, little things like that. So yeah, after some experimentation, I was able to consistently pull prints that I was pretty happy with. They're not perfect, but I like them. Maybe you'll think this is a bit of a cop-out, but I actually think that's one of the cool things about woodblock prints, that each one is a little bit unique. Hey, thanks for watching me bumble my way through my first woodblock print. I learned a lot, and I hope you found it interesting. I had a good time with it, and I think I'll probably be doing more woodblock prints in the future. One thing that struck me was just how many factors there are in the process, how many different little variables, and with practice and repetition, how I started to become sensitive to each little factor along the way to improving the prints. I also developed a lot of appreciation for the great woodblock printmakers out there, as well as for the invention of the printing press. Okay, see you next time. Bye.